Yeah, so I bore pretty easily, so I will engage in a number of different side projects at a given time. This one here is where I'm taking a stopcock from Stewart, and this is intended for draining condensation from cylinders. So there's the body. I'm working on shining that up. This stem here, I've been working on getting it lapped in so that it's a good seal. Now, here's where I'm going to talk about a bit of a trick that I learned from watchmaking, and I have a book written by George Daniels called Watchmaking, and this is something that basically that he describes that I've modified for what I've got available. I took, so these this is a glue spreader you can get from Lee Valley Tools, and I'm sure there's a lot of other places that stock it. And this is a block of Rio Grande Sunshine Tripoli compound. What I did was I used this, the compound is fairly crumbly, so I used this to scrape chunks of the compound onto this. Now this is just an, upturn mixed nut tin. What you do, after you've scraped the small chunks of Tripoli onto it, is you take a light oil. This, I'm using chain lube here just because it's really what I've got kicking around. It's light oil. It's honestly, it reminds me for all the world of 3-in-1 oil, except it's got a bit of a stronger smell of volatiles. Now what you do, what I've been doing is, if you see that washer there, that washer goes on the bottom side between the retaining nut and the body of the valve. So what I do, I set it down. I'm not going to put it in the polish because you don't need to. But this stuff here is polish that's already been mixed with the with oil. And you just take this tool here and you basically dab at it like that and try to break the clumps up. And they'll break up and you'll get a pretty even sort of paste out of it. And then what you do, and this is the, now the thing is, of course, if I took my finger, I could go like this with my finger, right? But if I do that, I'll get oil on my finger. So what I do is I just use the end of this, like that, and it basically fits a little in the divot and it doesn't go all the way through. And then I can use it as a tool and just move it in a figure 8, and I get a pretty good even matte finish that is probably small enough it's not going to show up on this video. But that's used by watchmakers for polishing quite a few small parts, except instead of this they'll use something like a tin block with a powder called diamantine that you can get from Bergen. And he will frequently speak of a black polish. And what that is it's basically a flat surface that has been polished so finely that when you turn it, angle it away from yourself, all the light that strikes it is reflected away from it. So it actually kind of turns black. That, as you can imagine, is a very difficult polish to do. I've never actually managed that. Anyways, I hope this is interesting. Have fun.